not necessary that there will be term called PMO, but yes, the content of the question may indicate that this. Whether you write PMO, you do not write PMO, it does not matter. When we talk about a strong executive, it is also a manifestation of rise of Prime Minister office. Right. Already in prelims, they have asked questions on cabinet committees, so we expect a question in prelims also today or tomorrow. This. So we do teach while teaching these things, because when we talk about a strong executive, we have been also expecting a question on a strong executive. So strong executive question you cannot address unless you understand the entire setup. How exactly is the entire setup of PM, cabinet, councillor, minister, and how it is working and how it has become strong. And when we say strong executive, so what does it mean when we say strong executive? And when it is a strong executive, so how it is a threat to collective responsibility? Because majority government, parliamentary democracy, or any democracy, there will be majority government. So how it becomes a threat to that collective form of government, and why it is so important to have a collective form of government, or parliamentary form of democracy, or let's say cabinet form of democracy. So these things we'll try to address. So we'll continue from this. We were talking about strong versus weak executive. So strong executive is, I think before that what we have told? We have told about characteristics now. Evolution we have told. Then we told characteristics. Characteristics. Yes. So characteristics means what is a strong executive. Or when we say strong executives, it generally means that the government is in majority. The ruling party is in majority. If it is in majority, so it is strong. Strong and it is stable, because majority will result into continuity of 5 years tenure. Why it is in majority? Because of strong leadership of Prime Minister. Generally elections are won. So if Prime Minister leadership is very popular, if Prime Minister is very popular leader, he gets nationwide support. This, and when he gets nationwide support, so that's why he becomes strong. So either he has a strong personality, characteristics, charismatic, popularity. So all these things result into making him a strong leader. Because after all, how a leader becomes strong? Why our present Prime Minister is strong? Because let's say national level he has support. Even internationally also there are supports. So when you have the supports, so that is how he becomes strong. So when you become strong, so then you become a strong leader. So when you become a strong leader, so that is how it results into, yes, you can have stability and growth, you can bring lots of change, you can bring lots of reforms, but yes, the most important challenge it poses is called democratic governance. Because that is how we say, even Abraham Lincoln says, if you want to test anyone's character, give him power. This. And so yesterday, I was reading some of the things, let's say. So once Mahatma Gandhi told, Arun Shaurya has written a very bad word for Prime Minister. I will. So he is ex-Indian Express editor also, a cabinet minister in Vajpayee government, and a strong critic to present government. This. So he says that donkeys have become horses. Right. This is what his statement. Donkeys have become horses and they don't have respect for democracy. Right. Similarly, Anil Swarup, one retired IAS officer, you may be knowing him. Anil Swarup writes that now everything goes to PMO. Right. Everything goes to PMO. Even a ministry wants to have a press conference, so that also go ahead is given by PMO. Whether a ministry would have a press conference or not. This, it is his article. And it is the most recent article on centralization of power. In print it has been, he has written. Right. Written. Today. Since, right. So, since newspaper I do not subscribe, means we do not read nowadays. Articles we read here and there, but anyhow, I'll see that. But I was searching the most recent, because not always articles are written on such topics. Strong executive, rise of Prime Minister office, or PMO and Prime Minister. Anil Swarup wrote in 2022 one article. He writes that you'll find. So there have been concerns related to that, or any, let's say, that the Prime Minister who, let's say, assumes power and has such awe and fear on this, let's say that. So it poses a threat, although we'll try to talk on this. So this is how there is a characteristics of when we talk about a strong executive. And just opposite characteristic is weak executive. The weak executive is one where no party has clear majority. So when no party has clear majority, so you should know the causes. Why it has no, let's say, no party has clear majority. It is because you do not have a popular leader who can have national level support. So we did not have a popular leader after 1989, let's say, 1989 to 2014. So 2014 we did not have, although we had Vajpayee. But by the time, let's say, Vajpayee may be popular, but not popular enough to convert into votes. The people will support the party. This. So popularity is that people should be, let's say, that voting that party. And by that time, regional parties, they became strong. Right. Hence, you need something national agenda for support. Right. And it can be either religion or development. This way you can see, because how a party will have its reach in Kerala, isn't it? So you can imagine. So since in coalition era a party is not as popular, a leader is not popular, that's why that there will be coalition politics. Although there are many other factors for coalition politics. Other factors for coalition politics, we can say weak parliament, we can say. So that started, as we told you, defection 1967, 1958. Since then itself defection started. That is called decline in quality of politics. It has become very easy in our country to make any political party. India has over 500 political parties, plus some shell type of political parties. You may have heard shell companies, but there are also shell political parties. Their role is only to convert black money into white money. They are created just for that. It is very easy to create a political party. That is how at a state level you can have so many political parties. Plus, national parties are not able to address the political aspirations of local people. And that is how centralization we have to understand. So national parties or even the government, they are not able to address the political aspirations of people at local level, because ours is a society which is a highly diverse society. That demands diversity, and therefore this is how regional parties have emerged. And the regional parties have become very, let's say, that strong in their area. Shiromani Akali Dal. So why it is, let's say, that popular in Punjab? It is not popular outside Punjab. Similarly, Bahujan Samaj Party, Samajwadi Party, RJD, Mamata Banerjee. So they may be popular in their Shiv Sena. They may be only popular to that state. And these are all parochial patriarchal system. This is political culture, we say that, because they are popular because of son of soil factor. So they are more or less son of soil parties, you should know that. Hence, they will not let also growth of national parties. First, they grew because of weaknesses of national parties, and now they will not let growth of national parties. So you can understand in that way. So that's why coalition politics, and that is how gradually started 1967 onwards, you can say. Don't tell that it is all about political, it is freedom of expression. Right. Freedom of expression is a very distant thing. Rather, it is more about So freedom of expression means you should talk freedom of expression for all, not only for a particular group or a particular section. The coalition, since coalition, we have been expecting also a question on coalition politics in GS paper, because it is another new area. So far they have not asked any question. While teaching this topic, we also tell you coalition also a bit, so that you can address if at all question is asked. So this we can consider. So this is how weak government, a weak government emerged, and that is how weak government means the national leader will not be strong. And when it will not be strong national leader, it is a party, it is a coalition which has either 4, 5 to 24 parties. So then they have a common minimum program, and hence they will not be able to take all bold reforms. All bold reforms, you can know that, you can understand by the fact that when NDA came to power, Vajpayee time, they did not implement their agenda. When present time BJP came to power, it has almost now implemented all its major agendas, including 370 abolition, you can say Babri Masjid, means Ram temple construction, that has also been done. So, yes, uniforms civil code is remaining. This, but whatever the agenda it had, since it is a majority party and it has seeked mandate on that, it has got support on that, so it has also right to act on them. This is the political mandate, you can say. The minorities, then that's always debatable, but it has the mandate to bring change as it has been given by people. So this is the difference between a coalition government and a majority government. A majority government has mandate, that's why a majority government is stable and it can bring, let's say, growth and development. But a coalition government struggles to bring growth and development. That's why 1989 to 1999, we had also decline of our quality of politics, and everything happened during that tenure. It can be nexus, corruption, criminalization of politics, identity-based politics, regionalism, all those things, let's say security challenges also increase. So those things happen during that time. So we have also told strong leadership. So strong leadership also results into, I think I have not told in this class, yes. So we have to talk further on that. So let's try that.
So can we see that the strong executive will result in conflicts with federalism?
Yes, that is also. Strong leadership means conflictual federalism, or more and more, let's say that a unitary type of system. वो federal polity I will tell. Right. The other aspect I will tell in federal polity. Right. So we have told evolution also. No, evolution. Evolution we told. Strong executive. No, simple evolution. GS के लिए इतना ही काफी है. Although I will tell a bit more when we'll talk about. So strong executive phases, you have only 4 such phases, like Nehru, Indira Gandhi, Rajiv Gandhi, and present Prime Minister. This is how they are the strong executives. And if you talk about weak executives, so barring Janata government, not an important. 89 to 2014. This, the weak executive. This. So when we talk strong versus weak, this is how it should have in our picture, like this. Since we have written advantages, disadvantages, means we have to told that they have their own advantages, disadvantages. So let's write about strong executive advantages. Strong executive advantages. First, stable government. Stable government. Next, strong leadership. Strong leadership. Leadership. Next. Bold and radical reforms. Bold and radical reforms. Next, check on vociferous tendencies. Check on vociferous tendencies. Next, good image, in international politics. Next, innovation, growth and development. Change in paragraph. A strong executive simply means a strong leader. That's why the party in power has received clear mandate of people. Hence, a strong leadership is considered an essential condition for first bringing radical reforms and changes, as they demand political will. For instance, under present government, several such radical reforms have been taken up. Like GST, IBC, Atmanirbhar Bharat. Next, strong leadership checks vociferous tendencies. Like be it leadership of Indira Gandhi or Rajiv Gandhi or present Prime Minister. Security challenges, internal security challenges are tackled efficiently. Next, innovation, growth and development. Okay. Demand stability, order, and radical reforms, like ease of doing business, under present government. In fact, India has experienced a turnaround since 2014 due to a strong executive and leadership of Prime Minister. Be it innovation, investment, infrastructure development, etc. It also happened during Rajiv Gandhi time, telecom revolution. And Nehru provided a strong leadership for science and technology. Science and Technology, and credit goes to him for success of ISRO. Credit goes to him for success of ISRO. Therefore, a strong executive also gives hope to people, and it motivates people for their contribution in national growth and development, for their contribution in nation's growth and development. Growth and development. So a bit we have tried to make it applied, this which is now the demand. Plus we have tried to have a blend, not to make it completely current. This, but still it is bare minimum thing that we are talking. So when we have a strong executives, so it gives lots of benefits to society. Because first thing is that a strong leader has its own vision. If you see, analyze all the prime ministers, they have their own vision and mission. That is how whatever we have today in terms of IITs, IIMs, and science and technology like ISRO, atomic energy. So these all things were the vision of first prime minister. This. So he laid down all these things, and in his era, and that is what you have today. We can claim, and governments also can claim. But foundation and the vision is of that. That's also, let's say, leadership and supporting. He supported the scientist Vikram Sarabhai and other lead, let's say that scientists. They got free hand. So that happened because of leadership of Prime Minister. Present Prime Minister has also given free hand to science and technology. Largely any Prime Minister coming, they give free hand to science and technology. Because you know that science and technology is the basis for any nation's development. So this, then they have their own, let's say that, because reforms, all reforms originate through the leadership of Prime Minister, because they demand political will. Any reform has also political cost. So this we will find that be it reforms, whatever the reforms we take, and recently you know that many developments have happened related to our reforms. So this way, and they are also paying, let's say, we have good now infrastructure, we can say. The infrastructure which we can claim that now they are matching to the world-class infrastructure, especially road transportation. So again, it goes to this aspect. Plus another other dimension, if you talk about the security aspects, if you talk about international politics, be it Nehru, Indira Gandhi, Rajiv Gandhi, or present Prime Minister, even let's say Vajpayee, so they were quite popular internationally. They were the leader of international repute, stature, let's say that they can have their influence. So in international politics, so that way Indian image of the country also improves when we have a strong leader. Then security, if you say, as we have told, or I think I may not have told, but our security scenarios become, let's say that, worse in coalition era time. You should know that Naxalism, Naxalbari uprising happens in 1967. It was crushed in 1971 by Operation Steeplechase. And that Operation Steeplechase was the only such operation so far in which military was also involved. The military had an outer cordon, and then let's say that Naxalbari uprising was crushed through that, although it was paramilitary force, but military provided help. But you know that thereafter so many things have happened. In that last 30 years, Greyhound, and we have developed Greyhound, Cobra, etc. But you know that attacks have happened. That attack, you know that 78 such Cobra battalion, let's say, personnel were ambushed in one day and they were killed. So Naxalism, etc. Thereafter it goes to the forest areas from mainland. Similarly, Khalistan movement, you know that strong leadership. The only terrorism that we have eliminated so far, it is called Khalistan movement. So that was also suppressed. Although yes, we cannot say that it is a transitional society, so a strong leadership will be able to solve all problems. It is also not true, but yes, that till that time also you know that we did not have Jammu and Kashmir terrorism. Jammu and Kashmir terrorism also starts during coalition era. It can be coincident also that the geopolitical scenario changes. And when geopolitical scenario changes, so Afghan war ends and that is how they heads towards India. But when they heads towards India, so India should not have provided a space for them. But somehow they found a space in India. That is how the Jammu and Kashmir terrorism. So this again, it is about leadership. The leadership is not strong. But if you see now again, leadership is strong. The security scenario can be tackled, and how let's say some surgical strikes, the external affair minister aggression. So today our let's say foreign affairs, you can say, our security aspect, you can say, it is good. Even more than that, at times it becomes belligerent, but avoid it. Let's talk about goodness of that. So the good side is that it has become much strong, much aggressive, and then it creates a strong deterrence against any such vociferous tendencies. So this we can consider. That is how the benefit we can have of a strong executive. But then let's say that disadvantages. Disadvantages. Okay. Strong executive. Okay. Strong executive poses threats to democratic governance. Democratic governance or a parliamentary system. A parliamentary system. Okay. As it is prone to first centralization of powers. Centralization of powers. Next, seeing India more from a unitary perspective. Seeing India more from a unitary perspective rather than a federal polity. Next, arbitrary exercise of powers. Arbitrary exercise of powers. Therefore, due to such factors, the disadvantages are first, the cabinet form of government becomes prime ministerial government. In bracket, presidential type. Like Indira Gandhi, Rajiv Gandhi, and present Prime Minister. Next, it is not cabinet. It is not the cabinet which takes decision. Rather the Prime Minister or kitchen cabinet. Prime Minister or kitchen cabinet. Like within that, first Indira Gandhi took decision of internal emergency without taking cabinet into confidence. Next, as of now, PMO has become de facto de facto authority for approving the policies of ministry departments, policies of ministry departments, Next, strong say by Prime Minister. Next separate point. Strong say by Prime Minister. Strong say by Prime Minister. Then strong say by Prime Minister in other affairs of the government. Be it appointment, reforms, development, like there is cabinet committee and appointment. Which has only two members. Maurya and Kautilya. Prime Minister and Home Minister. Next, there is next separate point. There is a tendency of usurpation of powers. Including of legislature and judiciary. And hence, executive and judiciary conflicts may increase. Like Indira Gandhi time and present government. Indira Gandhi time and present government. Next. Federal polity becomes more conflictual, which started during Indira Gandhi time. And as of now, a new term has been given known as combative federalism. Next. Combative. COMBATIV. Combative federalism. We'll deal when we'll take federal polity. Next. Combative federalism. What was? I think it was last. No. I told we will deal in federal polity. Because combative you may not be knowing here as of now. So many things we may not be still knowing. So we'll deal when we'll take time will come. Then this. So yes, next. The democracy starts getting a culture of hero worship, which seriously damages internal party democracy. Next, prone to misuse of prone to misuse of democratic institutions, and administrative machineries, democratic institutions and administrative machineries like CBI, Enforcement Directorate, tax administration, etc. Next, it poses challenges for democratic accountability. It poses challenges for democratic accountability. Right. Which is the foundation of parliamentary democracy. In bracket, you can say, as there is power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely. Power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely.
Sir, please repeat. Power corrupts.
Power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely. Like, let's Indira Gandhi time, internal emergency. Rajiv Gandhi time, Bofors scam. Present government. Okay. Characterization of rule by law against rule of law. By ex-Chief Justice. This. So, you can see we are so efficient that a person can be disqualified and the very morning the parliament can issue notice for disqualification. As if at night parliament members were sitting on that judgment, isn't it? The parliament received the judgment from the session court, lower court, in the night itself. This, and in morning parliament issues a notice for disqualification. I will take from a broader perspective. Such a high level of efficiency we have, isn't it? Means it is quite possible, it means such a high level of efficiency. But you should know that there is another MP who was disqualified from Lakshadweep, and his disqualification has been removed. But he has not been reinstated as member of parliament so far, and perhaps not in this Lok Sabha. So that is how we'll find this. So we are quick in disqualification. Anyhow, it shows clear, let's say, rule by law, not rule of law. In a particular case, you show quite haste, and in another particular case, you do not show your that kind of concern. Anyhow, so rest is yours, let's say that. Although, yes, things are good. This is called, when you pick and choose, let's say, pick and choose. So that is called rule by law. Sorry, rule by law. When we'll take judiciary somewhere, we can tell you at certain point of time what is rule by law. But yes, when we pick and choose in the same case, if you behave two different ways, so then it becomes rule by law, not rule of law. Rule of law means if same nature of crime happens by any person, there is the same nature of action. This is called rule of law. because then you do not see which person has committed that offense. Rather, law will take its own course. This is how we say. But law takes its own course only in some cases, but not in some other cases. And it happens whenever you can have a majority government. A majority government means power. Power is that it can play with that power. It can eliminate anyone. Then it starts becoming, even it can go near to monarchical system of absoluteness. This in the garb of which I always say that development to China में भी होता है, development to Saudi Arabia में भी हो रहा है और UAE में भी हो रहा है. Right. If you see, appreciate a particular government, just कि there is development and growth, ये तो एक डिक्टेटर्स वाले जहाँ पे डिक्टेटर है वहाँ भी हो रहा है. Right. The growth development may not necessarily be a parameter to judge a government. Rather, it is how the government is democratic, that should be the matter. Right. This, because we have to do in a democratic way. Otherwise, monarchical system ही adopt कर लो फिर. Development तो UAE में हो रहा है. No, even much better than us. So development तो वहाँ लोग वहाँ भी खुश हैं लोग. Right. इंडिया से लोग हनीमून मनाने जाते हैं. Sorry to say that. Means एक तरह से वो इंडिया का बैकयार्ड है. मैं तो और क्लास में ऐसे बोलता हूँ. It is the backyard. Just जाना है, वॉक करके आना है. बहुत सारे जो पैसे वाले लोग हैं उनके लिए मॉर्निंग वॉक है दुबई. This, it is like this. Our second home. The monarchical state is giving such kind of thing. The good, अच्छा है, democracy नहीं होना चाहिए. So if you evaluate a government, any government, just on development and growth parameter, so it cannot be considered as a, let's say, a broader, comprehensive way of evaluation. Growth and development is also one achievement. Innovation also achievement. But we have adopted a democratic system. Means we have adopted a democratic system that we should live, right, and work, progress in a democratic manner. इसका मतलब तो यही होता है. You should live, work and progress in a democratic manner. Right. Not in authoritarian manner. Otherwise, we should not have adopted democracy. Let there be a monarchical system and there is one person who can be declared as head of the state. So that way we can consider. The negative side is largely related to democratic aspect. The threats to democracy in different way. Either it can be federal polity. Gradually you will remember when teach federal polity, when we teach office of governor, already ordinance we have taught. Gradually you will see that how, let's see, whenever we have a unitary type of a strong executive, so they think that they run the states also. They run the, already we have told somewhere, not in this class, yes. So just to tell you one trailer, so when Janata government came to power, yes, we have taught president's rule. When Janata government came to power, they dismisses the elected governments of the state. And when Indira Gandhi came to power, so she retaliated. This, you can imagine any party, let's say they look towards Indian democracy. They see Indian democracy unison, integrated. They don't see states should be separate. And they let there be democracy at a state level. That is how it is a loss to democracy. And similarly, let's say when we'll talk governor, let me tell you that when VP Singh came to power, he tried to remove all governors. Why? Because they were appointed by the past government. And when let's say, and Chandrasekhar Singh, they lost their power and the Congress party came in power, then they tried to do the same thing, remove the governor. So, and then when present party came to power, it has observed all these things. It has grown up like that. So anyhow, so this is what federal polity. The federal polity becomes more like unitary polity, right? And next we have told conflicts also increases between executive and judiciary. You can imagine, and Israel could have been the role model. जैसे सुदर्शन टीवी बन गया है उसी तरह से इजराइल हो सकता है, लेकिन वहाँ के डिफेंस मिनिस्टर ने अब बोला है कुछ, निकाल दिया. Right. You are more updated. Right. So, defense minister spoke in Israel that the government should have a moratorium. Because वो पूरा बोल openly he cannot tell that the government should not bring amendment. So he told that the government should bring a moratorium since scenario in the country has become very disturbing. So a ruling party member speaks. That's why we say that when things go beyond a limit, people start speaking. Because then this is how, let's say that you think that now time has come or now we cannot tolerate. So it has a tolerance limit also in democracy. And that is how people may be tolerating. So government, let's say they are trying to amend. I have not studied what exactly yes, they are trying to take away judicial powers. But what exactly I have not seen. Let further some development happen. But this is how, let's say, here also again the conflict is going on. And the way you know that the law minister speaks, बच्चों जैसा, this. So किसी ने बोला कि केजरीवाल ने बोला है अभी कि अनपढ़ों की सरकार. So law minister, see, you cannot talk about judiciary in a conference, right? Because it is contempt of court. Right? But that is how they talk, the conflicts. Although yes, always executive has the prerogative to decide, but you also know that there is constitutional supremacy. Executive is not absolutely free to do whatever it wants. And we have also told that parliament has the will, not the executive. It is the parliament which has the will to govern. That will is delegated to executive in a parliamentary system. This वो presidential system होगा तो इससे भी ज़्यादा challenging है वो. अगर आप प्रेसिडेंशियल सिस्टम की बात करोगे, यूएस में अगर कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन को चेंज करना है ना, 3/4 मेजॉरिटी चाहिए. This you can imagine, even if it is a presidential system, still president cannot do whatever he wants. So similarly in a parliamentary system, then it should be more than that. More check. But government starts believing that no, since it has the mandate, and fooling the people that yes, we have the mandate, so we can do. That is how the vice president statement. That when he says an elected government, sovereign parliament, will of people. Anyhow, so threats are largely related to this side, democratic side. The rule by law there can be, means rule by law you can have, conflicts can have, machineries can be misused. That is not the first time. CBI has always been misused, you know. इसके बहुत सारे नाम हैं. When we will teach CBI, we will tell you. Right. So इसी पार्टी जो रूलिंग पार्टी आज है, वो पहले इसी CBI को बोलती थी कांग्रेस इन्वेस्टिगेशन ब्यूरो. Right. Means कांग्रेस ब्यूरो ऑफ इन्वेस्टिगेशन. तो जब वो कांग्रेस ब्यूरो ऑफ इन्वेस्टिगेशन हो सकता है ना, तो वो बीजेपी ब्यूरो ऑफ इन्वेस्टिगेशन भी हो सकता है. बस जब वो पॉलिटिसाइज्ड है तो वो तो जिसका पॉलिटिक्स होगा उसका साइड में होगा वो. So these machineries are misused. You know how they are misused. This you can say. We do not have only this today history. So this can be the threat, and ultimately, let's say it may result into that. Whatever the developments benefit you get, somehow in long run it starts working like loss rather than benefit, because dissatisfaction among people start increasing. This. So democracy matters. After all, development does not only matter. Right? This, because democracy, freedom, which is questioned. This way we can talk about this. However, let's write this further. Don't you know that what B.R. Ambedkar told? Democracy is a top dressing. We do not become democratic. Means we do not become democratic. Let's say, yeah, we are not democratic. ये कहने से लोगों को बहुत ही बुरा लगेगा, बट हम लोग डेमोक्रेटिक नहीं है. Right. Alien है तो this is the question that कि we have not made people democratic. Democracy है ही नहीं. मीन्स कि है बट वो बहुत ही एक तरीके से पार्शल तरीके से है या कुछ एस्पेक्ट्स में है, तो देन वी स्टार्ट ग्लोरीफाइंग इट दिस इट इज बिगेस्ट डेमोक्रेसी इन द वर्ल्ड. यस, इट इज बिगेस्ट. अब इसी को आप जनता के सामने बोलोगे तो उनको बहुत अच्छा लगेगा, वी आर द बिगेस्ट डेमोक्रेसी इन द वर्ल्ड. राइट. बट उसी बिगेस्ट डेमोक्रेसी का तरीका ये भी है that in elections voters are intoxicated. Right. Voters are intoxicated. This, you know what happens? Yes, that is how poverty illiteracy. जब तक एजुकेशन नहीं होगा लोगों में एजुकेशन नहीं है. एजुकेशन है तो रेशनैलिटी नहीं है. राइट. रेशनैलिटी, यू नो दैट कि so they don't have that kind of rationality. आपकी सोसाइटी में बहुत सारी चीजें हैं जो आप डे टू डे में क्या है, कास्ट है, रिलीजन है, कम्युनिटी है, इसी में तो लगे हुए हैं. राइट. आपकी फैमिली के अंदर जो है सास बहू में लगे हुए हैं. ठीक है, मतलब पूरा वो महाभारत उसका. बाकी जो टाइम बचा तो एक दूसरे की बुराई करने में जाता है. तो सॉरी टू से दैट, और तो जो एम्प्लॉयड नहीं है औरतें, उनका आधा टाइम तो इसी में जाता है. जनटेड एक दूसरे के बारे में ही बात करके. मेन लोग हैं तो वो तो कोई कार्ड खेलता है, कोई गैम्बलिंग करता है, यही तो करता है, या कोई हुक्का पारी लेके बैठा हुआ है. सो बेसिकली सारा एनालिसिस अगर आप देखोगे ना तो वर्ल्ड वेस्टर्न कंट्रीज में कम लोग. अभी नारायण मूर्ति ने क्या बोला एक कॉन्फ्रेंस में? राइट. वर्क एथिक्स. इंडिया डज नॉट हैव वर्क एथिक्स. अब पढ़ो. Right, he speaks very harshly. This, so the person who has this experience, he speaks like that. So बहुत सारी चीजें हैं जो एजुकेशन टीच करता है. एजुकेशन जो होता है, जैसा ऐसे होता है कि एजुकेशन से बहुत सारी चीजें होती है. बहुत सारे लोग, सॉरी टू से दैट, many people come from rural India. They are not educated. और वो एक बड़े शहर में आ गया. अब बड़े शहर में आ गया और वो समझता है कि वो बड़े शहर का बाप है. राइट. जैसे मैं एग्जांपल देता हूँ, जैसे रिक्शा वाला है, ई रिक्शा वाला है, तो ई रिक्शा चला रहा है, तो वो दिल्ली में चला रहा है ना, तो वो उसका जो मोटिवेशन लेवल है अपने बारे में वो बहुत ही हाई है. कहाँ है वो? दिल्ली में ई रिक्शा चला रहा है. कुछ डिसिप्लिन नहीं आता है उसको, और बिल्कुल बीच रोड पे चलाता है. रेट. लार्जली ई रिक्शा वाले बिल्कुल बीच रोड पे चलाते, लगता है कि रोड उसके बाप का है. रेट. या किसी गांव में चला रहा है वो. जैसे गांव में ऐसे ही होता है ना कि रोड है, गाड़ियां नहीं है, एक ही है, वो जा रहा है अकेले, तो वो बीच रोड पे चलाते हुए जा रहा है गाते हुए. उसी तरह वो समझ रहा है कि दिल्ली भी वो गांव का ही रोड है, तो वो बीच में चलाते. यू ऑब्जर्व इट, दे ड्राइव लाइक दिस. और वो कभी भी वो बिल्कुल 360 डिग्री पे टर्न होता है ऐसे. राइट. दिस मीन्स वो चलता रहेगा और कब वो टर्न ले लेगा सर. राइट. वो आपको पता ही नहीं चलेगा. राइट. सो दिस, हाउ कैन यू टीच डिसिप्लिन? राइट. एंड दे कॉज लॉट्स ऑफ एक्सीडेंट्स. इट्स नॉट कि वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट देम कि जो रिच क्लास है वो डिसिप्लिन है, नहीं. बट जस्ट टू टॉक अबाउट, लेट्स से रिच क्लास के जो बच्चे हैं वो BMW के बहुत सारे एक्सीडेंट्स है. तो रिच क्लास में भी बच्चों को ऐसे ही डिसिप्लिन नहीं सिखाया जाता है. दिस, यू सी हाउ द एक्सीडेंट्स दे डू, एंड दे हैव ओवर स्पीडिंग, एंड एट नाइट दे डू ऑल सॉर्ट ऑफ एक्टिविटीज. तो जो रिच क्लास का बच्चा है वो भी ऐसा ही है, बट वो थोड़ा हाई फाई टाइप का एक्टिविटी करता है, isn't it? और जो पुअर क्लास है, जो एजुकेटेड नहीं है, वो भी इनडिसिप्लिन्ड है और रश ड्राइविंग करता है. राइट। सो आप इनको डिसिप्लिन कैसे कर सकते हैं जब तक डेमोक्रेटिक एस्पेक्ट फैमिली में नहीं होगा, राइट, फैमिली, you cannot bring democracy in society. This family is the smallest manifestation of any democracy in any society, I always tell. So this way we have to understand. Yes, this is the whole South Asia. Yes, then we should also govern our own way. अब ये मत बोलो भाई कि रोड पे जो है वो भैंसे चल रही हैं तो ये हमारा अपना तरीका है, राइट, सॉरी टू से इन दैट लैंग्वेज, ठीक है, ये अब तरीका नहीं हो सकता है, ये इरेटिकनेस है कि आप रोड है और मेन दिल्ली का रोड है वो, और क्या है कि आपने बैफलोज वगैरह छोड़ दिया है रोड पर, राइट, आप कुछ बोल नहीं सकते हैं बिकॉज वी आर वेरी गुड एट एनिमल राइट्स, वी लव एनिमल्स, isn't it? बट ये कोई तरीका नहीं है, इसलिए कि इससे ट्रैफिक होता है, एक्सीडेंट हो सकता है, right? और इट इज लाइक कि लेट्स कि दे विल डेवलप ए हैबिट. You cannot see, once I was having one our landlord in past, so he died. So I was attending his funeral in Delhi. I was going by his car and his one relative may be on the way somewhere. He was stuck. So I noticed that he is also part of this, let's say his relative, etc. I asked him, he got into the car. Then we started driving. On the way, from this BLK side, some animal, let's say that, they came on road. Then he spoke about India. He may be living in foreign country, right? And he told that in India you can find any sort of thing on the road, right? And in foreign country, he was saying that you cannot never find a single animal on the road. It is not allowed. Right. So this is what you have to understand, discipline also. Right. Now either you have too much democracy or no democracy. So it is not democracy, it is too much of democracy. You cannot feed animals at any place in Western countries. You cannot do that. It is violation of rule. In our, let's say that people have started feeding animals anywhere. They are animal lover, isn't it? But इसके भी law होते हैं, इसके भी rules होते हैं. So that is how, and then you understand and you, let's say, respect others' right. पता चला कि आपके मोहल्ले में आपके घर के सामने ही आके वो एनिमल को फीड करता है, अपने घर के सामने नहीं, आपके घर के सामने करता है, और आपने अगर बोल दिया तो आपके लड़ने के लिए तैयार है, अपने घर के सामने नहीं करेगा. राइट. ये सारा अनडेमोक्रेटिक चीज है. जो कोई स्मोक करता है सिगरेट, वो अपने घर से बाहर आके करता है, तो वो स्मोक कहाँ जा रहा है? दूसरे के घर में जा रहा है. अपने घर को वो बचा के रखा है, इसलिए वो बाहर आया है. अगर उसका बोलोगे उसको तो वो झगड़े के लिए तैयार. सो वेरी बेसिक थिंग्स इफ यू टॉक, बेसिक सेंस, अगर वो पढ़ा लिखा आदमी है, बेसिक सेंस है उसके पास, तो वो मान जाएगा, समझ जाएगा. लेकिन वो अगर नहीं उस तरह का समझदार है तो आपसे लड़ने के लिए तैयार है. क्या मैं सिगरेट भी नहीं पी सकता हूं? मैं अपने घर के सामने पी रहा हूं. Isn't it? Yes. This you have to understand, democracy, right? दूसरे देश में केस कर देगा उसके ऊपर केस कर देगा जाकर, लड़ने के लिए तैयार रहता है. This you have to understand, democracy. So democracy we have adopted, no doubt, if you ask, but yes, we are not trying to bring democracy. अब तो और भी नहीं है, अब तो एक तरह से belligerence है. अब belligerence है सोसाइटी में. इस तरीके से चीजें चल रही है कि आप देख सकते हैं कि टीवी वाले जो है एक ही चीज पे लगे हुए हैं, पूरा लाइव ब्रॉडकास्टिंग चल रहा है, साबरमती से लेकर के लखनऊ तक. This isn't it? और एक क्रिमिनल का लाइव ब्रॉडकास्टिंग कर रहे हैं, मिनट बाय मिनट. अब वो कहां पहुंचा, राइट? गाड़ी रुक गई है, पलटने वाली है. सच है क्या? मतलब कैन यू इमेजिन दैट कि टीवी चैनल्स ऐसे कर रहे हैं, राइट? और लोग देख रहे हैं, राइट? सो सच ए क्रिमिनल, लेट्स से दैट कि आई डू नॉट वॉच टीवी. हमारे घर में टीवी 3 साल से बंद है, राइट? इनफैक्ट टीवी का कनेक्शन ही नहीं है. We don't watch TV. So the question is, but we feel ki what is so. Right. We have to know. So for the sake of knowledge, I try to know, but that's different thing. So this is what we have to understand democracy, right? तो जो leader है, जो at the helm, they have the duty to bring democracy. अब वाजपेयी का example क्यों देते हो? Why you give him as an example? Right. That is how he will have influence of democracy. His influence will be on people, right? And that, let's say that you remember him because of his democratic leadership. He was popular among all political leaders. He was liked by all. Why? Even if he belongs to BJP. That time BJP did not have much support, but still you know that he is liked by all. This, and on foreign relations, even Congress party used to take, he used to accompany. This was the politics. This you have to understand all these things. That is the quality of politics, you know, that established. But the thing is that yes, it does not continue. Means it has not become so. I told you that ki Pradhan election, if you stand in Pradhan election, the first call that you will get is that बैठ जाओ नहीं तो बैठा दिए जाओगे. This आप सोचोगे किसी का कॉल आया है, वो कुछ हमको विश करेगा, isn't it? अच्छा है दिल्ली से आया, वो कुछ तो भला होगा हमारे गांव का, isn't it? बिल्कुल नहीं. दिल्ली में रहते हो वहीं चले जाओ, यहाँ तुम्हारा कोई काम मतलब जगह नहीं है. दिस इज आउट. पहला कॉल आपको यही आएगा, आप ट्राई कर सकते हैं. अगर वहां से बच गए तो नॉमिनेशन करते समय रास्ते में आपकी पिटाई हो जाएगी. अगर आपके पास आपके गुंडे नहीं है, अगर नॉमिनेशन से भी बच गए तो इलेक्शन आते आते तो हो ही जाएगा पिटाई, राइट? अगर उसके बाद भी बच गए तो इलेक्शन जीतने के बाद भी पिटाई हो सकती है. यूपी में ऐसा ही हुआ. लोकल इलेक्शन के बाद जो कैंडिडेट्स जीत के गए थे जिला परिषद, वो जिला परिषद गए जीत कर, ठीक है, जिला परिषद में ही पिटाई हो गया. दिस इज डेमोक्रेसी, जिसको ग्रास रूट डेमोक्रेसी कहते हैं, फ्यूडल सिस्टम. दैट्स व्हाई आई सेड, राइट? Within that we have so many positive things. That does not matter. But वो पॉपुलर नहीं है ना आपका. पॉपुलर वो मतलब अंडर करेंट नहीं है ना आपका. वो हार्ट तो नहीं है ना पॉपुलर. Right. Positives are there, na, but they are more as exception. Democracy. So there are so many things to talk. All these things. Yes, this is how we'll find this. So let's write all this. What we are writing. So we told this. Let's write. However, it is also difficult in a parliamentary democracy, especially in case of India, which has transitional society. Transitional society what we have written sentence.
However, it is also difficult in a parliamentary democracy, especially in the case of India, which has a transition?
To experience an ideal type cabinet form of government that can be possible in a democracy which has participative political culture participative political culture rather than parochial or subject political culture, rather than parochial and repulsive political culture. Parochial and repulsive political culture. Repulsive political culture. When we'll take elections or representation of people, like there will tell you a bit of political culture, so you'll understand this, right? Basically होता क्या है, इस तरह के जो एशियन कंट्रीज है उनके यहाँ जो पॉलिटिकल कल्चर है, लोगों का जो पॉलिटिकल एटीट्यूड है, उसको वो पैरोकियल होता है एज ए जनरली से कि फैमिली, और फैमिली इज पैरोकियल। जब हमारा फैमिली ही पैरोकियल है तो हम नेता भी बनेंगे तो हम पैरोकियल ही होंगे, लीडर। तो टुमारो समवन बिकम्स ए चीफ मिनिस्टर, ही विल रिमेन पैरोकियल। दिस इज हाउ। सो जो भी नेचर ऑफ डेमोक्रेसी है वो लोगों से आता है, वो पॉलिटिक्स से नहीं आता है। हम समझते हैं कि वो पॉलिटिक्स से आता है, बट वो लोगों से आता है। अगर लोग ही ऐसे हैं तो वो क्या क्या कर सकते हैं सोसाइटी? दिस पीपल, एज वी हैव टोल्ड इन प्रेसिडेंट्स रूल और ऑर्डिनेंसेस, तो पीपल नेवर हैव कंसर्न कि दे विल रेज देयर वॉइसेस, दे नेवर हैव दिस। You know what is happening in France? They have elected Macron, but they are against him. This. So this, they don't have loyalty that, you know, even if government does wrong, but you just keep tolerating all these things. People, they will not do that. Already yellow vest protest happened in Macron against him in his first tenure. And he had to accept the demands of the protesters. अब ये बोलोगे कि इससे लॉलेसनेस आ जाएगा, कियोस हो जाएगा, राइट, उनका मन बढ़ जाएगा, तो ये हम लोग सोच सकते हैं, वो लोग ऐसे नहीं सोचते। This, they will think it is right of people. Anyhow, so still let's say that since our society is transitional etc, so saying कि ये cabinet form of government होना चाहिए कई बार ideal भी होता है, right? It is difficult to have, and if you want to have, then you need to have a participative culture. Participative culture वो होता है that I told कि जैसे कि elections होते हैं western countries में, तो they don't have security personnel in election time, right? And there is no any threat for, let's say, this free and fair election. This, so people can go easily, they can vote without any security. This, which we will know also gradually later on. Let's write advantages, disadvantages of weak executive. Weak executive. A weak executive is generally due to either a party has lack of support, or there is absence of any popular leader, absence of any popular leader, due to which mandate gets fragmented, due to which mandate gets fragmented. Means fractured mandate. In such case, a coalition government is formed. Formed between, in India, between 1989 to 2014 at union level and at a state level since 1967. Wait. In fact, India experienced coalition politics in terms of hung parliament, most unstable phase between 1989 to 1999, experiencing six prime ministers. Causes of hung parliament.
Unable to hear you.
Causes of hung parliament.
Sir, we have missed sentences, I think.
What we have written?
In fact, India experienced coalition politics in terms of hung parliament.
Yes, India experienced coalition politics in terms of hung parliament from 1989 to 1999. Is it audible?
Yes, sir.
The causes we are talking, why? Because now I am trying to cover coalition politics also. This while teaching weak executive. Right. So basically it happened in 1967. So you know that 8 states formed non-Congress coalition government. Then so basically this one is we say as most unstable, this phase. Thereafter, it is stable. Stable coalition politics. So, at the state level already there were coalition politics. This, even if we have now, let's say that majority party government after, but this majority party government will be influenced by at the state level coalition politics. You can see what is happening at the state level, be it Maharashtra, etc. will find this. Since coalition politics remains, so we have been expecting it, since also it is a separate means a topic from which they have not asked a question, so we have been expecting also a question on coalition politics related question. So this, so like VP Singh, Chandrasekhar Singh, then again let's say Devi Gowda, then A.K. Gujral, then Vajpayee, Narasimha Rao, let's say 91 to 1906. So then Vajpayee, first 13 days, 13 months, then 5 years. This, so that way you can find how it was highly unstable. Yes, thereafter our coalition politics is stabilized. Since we have now gone into majority, so now we do not teach it properly. But at this stage, we were teaching coalition politics also, because when we were in coalition politics, so we were teaching coalition politics more systematically. But now since it has gone and we are already, let's say, nearing to next, let's say that almost 10 years of this majority government. So that's why there is a less possibility. But yes, since it remains a new topic, so a new area, so we expect on this. That's why this much of knowledge, if at all comes a question, so we can address by this. So let's write on this. Causes of coalition politics. First, national parties, especially Indian National Congress, for first 4 decades, was not able to incorporate the political aspirations of people, due to centralizing tendency. Rather, there was sense of alienation. Next, defection politics, which became rampant since 1967. Defection politics, which became rampant since 1967. Next, regionalism, reservation politics. Reservation politics, casteism, communalism, and identity-based politics. Political corruption, nexus. Role of money muscle powers in elections. Next, diversity in society, which demands greater political participation. Next, lack of internal party democracy. Lack of internal party democracy. Internal party democracy. Lack of developments. Lack of developments. Developments at local level. At local level, which increased people's dissatisfaction. Which increased people's dissatisfaction. Next, loss of leadership. Loss of leadership, which can be inclusive and popular at national level. Inclusive and popular at national level. Next, limitations of parliamentary democracy. Next point, limitations of parliamentary democracy. Democracy. Like, anyone can form any political party. Anyone can form any political party. Anyone can form any political party. And there is lack of proper regulation of political parties. Lack of proper regulation of political parties. So these things can be considered. Why coalition politics you have? So it's defection, but largely it comes from national leadership. Let's say first Indian National Congress itself started, that people started leaving Indian National Congress and forming their own political party. Why? Because internal party democracy aspect, or you have a more unitary approach. You are not able to incorporate the aspirations of the different people, let's say sections of society. When there is lack of development, people have dissatisfaction. Dissatisfaction result into some of the, let's say, local people will demand more local leadership. This we have to also understand. Then we don't have any regulation of political parties. You can create any political party, and this is how we have not been able to evolve a kind of two-party system. Like say in UK, it is broadly two-party system. Although they don't have any such official aspect, there will be two-party. In US also it has been, they have largely two-party. But ours is a country where you know that you have multi-party system, democracy we say, and multi-party system means anyone can have any party, and that is also in an internal party democracy. Largely we can say there can be so many things, but it is one key our limitation of parliamentary democracy, because we cannot have a capping on the political parties. We cannot have more than this political party. Second can be leadership. Let's say leadership is not that it is able to be inclusive and let's take into consideration all the different sections of society. At the same time popular, because popularity will happen only when you are at national level. You should be inclusive person, otherwise you cannot have acceptance given the diversity of the society. So prime minister, let's say that if you take Punjab, the Punjab prime minister may not have influence in Punjab. Prime minister may not have influence in Kerala, southern states. Prime minister may not have influence in West Bengal, right? So you can see that why people get influence. A leader people recognize themselves. So that way we can consider either party should be very strong, then people give mandate to that party. Or let's say there should be a leader. A new party cannot be strong. A new party is known by leader. Like say Kejriwal. Kejriwal can be a strong leader for the Aam Aadmi party. Party still may not be strong. So this way it happens. Now whether Kejriwal is acceptable for any other state. So that factor we have to take. Plus developments if you not happen, so people will have dissatisfaction. And within that, our society is son of soil factor. The son of soil factor, if you belong to a particular caste, if you think that this caste is marginalized, it becomes basis to form a party. And at least that caste will support you. So you can have many such caste-based parties or region-based parties. Regionalism, you can say that. So caste, region, and these things are coming simply because the national parties in first 4 decades, basically Indian National Congress, it is not able to incorporate these diversities in its national aspiration, you can say, when it has. Like say Tamil Nadu, why resistance started in Tamil Nadu? The Hindi language. You'll find the Hindi language, this linguistic demand of a, let's say, separate state. There can be so many different types of issues which people may demand that may give rise to a formation of political party. The regionalism, identity-based politics, lack of development, and ours is, let's say, parochial society, those things, plus at the same time loss of leadership. These things we can consider as causative factors for coalition politics. Then, let's say, in coalition politics, Prime Minister becomes weak. And he gets even a status of less than equals. He gets even a status of less than equals. Simply because the government is formed by a set of coalitions on common minimum agenda, on common minimum program. Which imposes limitations on Prime Minister. Like first, PM himself cannot decide portfolios. Next, ministers would not be loyal to PM rather to their party. Next, portfolios are given on the basis of, it's allocated on the basis of give and take policy. Hence, cabinet also becomes a sort of formal authority rather than a decision-making body. This is how you should know that. So when we have a coalition government,
the first step towards achieving your dreams is having the right coach. Get the best education with Lukmaan IAS and make your UPSC dreams come true. Download the app now.